Thank you for bearing with me for just a second there. I am doing this entire video in one straight shot here, and looking at my clock, we're about 2.25 hours in here, so I had to just get up and move for a second because that is a long time to be sitting down. But this is utterly important, and I have to get this done for you. So, jumping back in here, the last thing we were talking about, let him march, boys, let the man march, gives us the phrase, what exactly does terror mean? Now, I want to show you. If we look up the word terror, you do get reference to Neron Caesar, the man who burned down Rome, allegedly as a part to kill Christianity. And so Rome allegedly burned for 9 days, and he is held in a lot of stories to be representative of the Antichrist and to have risen from the dead. Do also notice you see reference to Roman Catholic Obama the Beast, Operation, the Satanic Bible, Idol of Baphomet, the Horned One, Particle of God, and Thoth 8. Again, right before I went on the break there, I did actually go into a bit of a tangent there about the 8th tarot card, so very important. Now, do notice down below the English and simple values for terror are the same as Sasha Fierce, Queen Bey, Mike Will, Black Boxes, and Obnoxio. So I covered all of those earlier. But what I do want to reiterate something on is that 564 is the same Jewish value as groupthink. And so this is very critical to pull aside here. So as you can see, both 5-letter words, the 55, we could get the 72 or the 9 through that when we break down the coding, but geez, it's such a popular one. So there for Jewish, for 564 here you have Don Trump, Tarot Gematria, the number 9, as I just stated, you can see in it there. You also see Sacred Ground, the Angels of Satan, the Fear Hoax, and the Scheme of Things. Alright, so and of course groupthink has the same English and simple coding as Dallas Love Field, which is where Kennedy was heading from when he was assassinated. Alright, and you do see coming up in there Freemasonry, this and that. You know what, I've actually got 834 in this one over here. If you want to take a look, it is going to come up at the end here. So absolutely critical to pull up there, but you do see Freemasonry, an eye for an eye, punishment, I am the Dark Lord, Imperial Cult, God is the devil, right, 69, all these numbers that I've been looking into. And so let's keep moving here though, because now let's start tying back more into a little bit about PEZ. And so something that you need to see here, is that it was founded in 1927 by a man named Edward Haas III. And so again, tying back, because I'm sure this is on another video now, do remember the 44 brick-like candies. And it wasn't until the year 1955 that the PEZ company started to put characters on the PEZ dispensers, such as Santa Claus and Mickey Mouse. And remember, 1955 is the same year that Representative Pete Sessions, let me pull him up for you here, was born. He was born on March 22nd, 1955. So you see why I wanted to show you that there, the 322 and the 55. But you do see Law of Thelema, Water Bearer, Blood Shower, Source of All Evil, okay, the Smithsonian Museum, the 36 triangular number, all of these things, as well as Divine Comedy and the Voice of Lucifer. Now, what I want you to see, though, aside from all of that interesting stuff of just when they're together, I want you to see that Edward Howe III has, for a Jewish value, the same coding as Susan in Pasadena, California. So do remember, for Erykah Badu's official fan site here, Susan is absolutely the only person that puts posts on here. The coding for Susan is 444 for the English and simple values if you look it up. So that's very critical to keep in mind as well, as the fact that Susan is an anagram for as son, okay? Something that I think is definitely important to keep in mind. You notice as well that Don King happens to have those 444 English and simples as well. References to occult, killing, Barak death, the king, so on and so forth, okay? So notice the English and simple values for Edward Howe III here are the same as David X. Cohen. It's the one who made up the word cromulent, which we've talked about throughout here. It's the same as Rose Bowl, which is where Beyonce played. On May 14th in Pasadena, California. Alright, just so we can be sure that this all ties together here. And again, Pasadena, California, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory location, everything I showed you there. You also see Bring Me Home, this is Sade reference. Join the ESD, the Earth Space Defense reference. Alright, you see reference to child sacrifice. Again, everything I told you about people who do not appreciate the world, children who feed into distraction, children. You see Death's Door, Necessary, and French Horn. And of course, all of this tying back in ample ways to the Formation music video here. And again, the More Than a Dreamer, Martin Luther King, everything we've talked about with that, the French horns, next to the phrase, the truth. Alright, all this stuff we've been talking about, Sade's Bring Me Home. This is from the Sweetest Taboo music video I looked into, but do notice just bizarrely she writes fear in Spanish at the end. All of these instances with her guitar player having these bull horns behind him. The FF on his guitar, it's a 6/6. Fenders. Her getting the gun here, right? All of the bizarre stuff. Remember all the coding for Love Gun that we've seen as well, since it makes sense to see Sweetest Taboo, Love Gun, Badu, Fifth Avenue, all these things I've shown you together here. The 11 women on this cover, the Lust card represented, the 4 members of KISS, the Emperor card, government, law, limitation, all of that. Alright. You could look at these pillars as a number of things, as a portal. You could look at them as an 11. You could look at the sun behind them as the 0, the silence, the joining of everything back to the perfect state of nothingness. You could also look at it as a reference to sun worship. However you look at it, you have to understand that it is immensely important in connection with all of this information. Alright, so now let's get back here. And notice in the back of this intro for The Simpsons with the right eye, the ice cream, the beheading, the PEZ, everything we talked about. In the background is the restaurant Zesty's Pizza and Subs. And this is supremely important because this intro was made well after this episode. This is season 7 that we're in, and the new intro there didn't come about till season 20, the Aeon. Go figure. But follow me back here to Lisa the Iconoclast, and when she's giving this speech here, when she's about to reveal to the town the truth about Jebediah Springfield and that everything is born on a lie and completely violate their just world theory, essentially send them into anarchy. Remember, that's the whole, even if you go back to Lisa the Iconoclast, just the title of this episode, you have Anarchy King, Causing Despair, the 3 threes, right? All of these things, the powers that be, secrets kept hidden. Dial M for murder. I want you to see that when we come back, there's a shooter for a split second aiming down at her. And what do you see in season 7 that is still here? For what I've been talking about is directly connected with someone being shot. Zesty's. It appears as Zesty's pages. Alright? Secret Satanic Sorority. Obama, Beast of Revelation. Nuclear Warhead, the Beast of War in United States, last president. Notice the reductions here. You can get it down to 66. Notice, like I said, that this video and the PEZ Theory are divinely inspired. 42 mirrored and added, and just like I stopped on 24 to reiterate, is 66. The English and simple values here are the same as Thief in the Night. This is the Fool. This is the one who goes on to conquer the universe. You see the Holy Ghost, Sun Worship, Occultic Master, an ideology of hate, the Destroyer, and alchemical process. is Solvet Coagula. You see Thy Kingdom Come, our Fleabag Gunman, and I think that's a direct reference to the shooter in Dealey Plaza that was down in the gutters that arguably is the one who delivered the kill shot on Kennedy. Alright, and again, because Zesty's pages is absolutely coming from a scene very similar to Kennedy being in the crosshairs. I mean, this is nuts. Evil Handlers, WWE, WEE, it's 555. It's crucial. Now, Zesty's on its own gives us the numbers 584. Those are the numbers for On the Ground. The last words of Charles Dickens, who's come up immensely, whose 8th book, David Copperfield, it's so tied in with all of this, it's sickening. Okay? Luciferian Mason, the King of the Snakes, the Doctrine of Lies. Down below, Will of Thelema, Age of Aquarius, on and on and on. The English and simple values are the same as the Tower, Friends Arena, and Rose City. Rose City is another name for Portland, Oregon. Place of immense importance to the occult. Rose is, of course, the Rosicrucians. You see Holocaust, history, the founding of the U.S. state in Roman numerals, New World, World War, Evil Curse, Keystone, 19th, and secret areas. Now, remember earlier in this video for the word cromulent, and again, all of the things that it shares the coding with that connect all of this. But one of the things it said was anagrams and gematria. And so I wanted to pull that phrase into the light for you just a little bit. So let's go back. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Yeah, we still got a way to go. We're talking 4-hour video here, people. But so an anagram for Zesty's pages is Spy Sets Gaze. What does that look like he's doing? And another anagram for that is PEZ Stage SS, or SS PEZ Stage. Which if you type in as PEZ Stage 11, because S and S reduced to 11, the English and simple values for it are the same as Zesty's pages. All of this right here. This is wildly important for you, and this is why I looked into the PEZ. Because of the PEZ stage and the SS and all of those connections, and to see that PEZ stage 11 is the same as SS. So when you look into the coding for PEZ, what do you think you see? Notice what number it is. Alright, just like the original logo is made out of 44 pieces of PEZ candy. You see Rosicrucian, the Secret Path, Spirit of Moloch, Cult Members, the Great Old Ones, the CERN Time Loop, and Hidden Opponents. The English and simple values, Beast, Time, Babylon, France, F, the 6th letter, it's a 6-letter word, it's another double 6. You see Omen and Zika, you also see Babylon. So notice down below, and this is going to segue us into talking about the man who shot Liberty Valance. But Lisa does not tell everybody. And remember all the times I was talking about a dragon. And in this scene where he's asking her why he didn't say anything, a dragon goes by. And so I want you to see for the myth of Jebediah, you have reference to the crowned snake. And she says the myth of Jebediah is more important and what she has to say. And you see Aquarius Apocalypse, the human will. That is, people will believe what they want. Psychotic child murderers, July plan. That lines up with a lot of my 729. Pale White Horse, the Obama Synagogue of Satan, loss of civil rights, scalar weapons. Remember, that is absolutely what HAARP is, and the implications of those sort of weapons really is endless. It is everything from being able to cause what would otherwise be referred to as natural disasters to literally making it sound as if we are hearing things, voices. You see reference to things are not as they appear. The devil is in the details. The number 1 to 36. Again, the 666. The evil of the Cliff Hoth. And 1963, the year that Kennedy was assassinated. Now notice here as well, you see the Alpha and Omega, angels in the flesh, Barry the Hatchet, economic downfall, Legend of Atlantis, Elenin 9/11. The numbers 177. Now go through and be sure to look through all of that different coding there, because it is really quite endless at how those numbers can be properly applied to all of this. Now, let's take a look at the man who shot Liberty Valance. And as I stated somewhere in probably the first hour of this video, when she decides to preserve the myth of Jebediah, it is cited as being a direct reference to that story. And now you're really going to have to go back and watch all of this video to see all of the pieces in here, because I've been talking about them interchangeably throughout. But so the man who shot Liberty Valance, let me pull this back up for you here. Take a look here. This is the actual movie for it. It's a 1953 short story by Dorothy M. Johnson. The movie is 123 minutes long, alright? And so here's this bit here talking about the decision there, and we'll get into that. But I want to show you that that 123 length loops us back to the date of January 23rd, when Trump said he could shoot somebody on 5th Avenue and get away with it, and inverting that number, giving us the 444. Now, Dorothy M. Johnson, do notice that 1600, that 16 in her coding there, the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, followers of Lucifer. Austin Lee Meredith is the second coming of Christ, the Holy Dove Goddess, the key to the mysteries, and it was meant to happen. Again, the English and simple values are the same as Jebediah Springfield Fraud, which is the paper that Lisa writes on Jebediah being a fraud and what she gets in trouble for and what leads to them unearthing his corpse. You see Death of the Antichrist, the knowledge of 11 reveal hidden truths, and I am the light and the way. And then Dorothy comes up so very often. It's Dorothy Parker, Dorothy Johnson, Dorothy whatever the hell in Wizard of Oz. I wanted to take a look at it. I don't have this pulled up for you, but the Jewish value, when you type it in and you're looking at the page, the first crack in the dam comes up countless times. Notice as well here that the English and simple values are the same as Days Later. And Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin was the producer for the Red Hot Chili Peppers' latest album that will be coming out on what was originally slated for the 24th of this month. All the coding I looked into for that. But do notice that 635 is the same Jewish value as Shooter's Hill and TMZ. Again, we have these references to 9/11, Zionism, sudden death, Lightbringer, Masonry, and vitriol. And so I want to loop back a little bit here, because we talked a lot about moons in the past, and videos of mine that were banned talked extensively about lunar cycles, so I think it's really important to mention this one. And I want you to see that for the month of July, since that's the month kind of we're talking about the most here, the full buck moon, every word is 4 letters, so it gives us this nice 444. So look at the Jewish value here. It's the same as Trauma Room 1. Now remember, this is the trauma room that Kennedy was pronounced dead in. You see here reference to triple number, the math of Lucifer, true proof, Babylonian king, the spirit of hate, and Earth's ionosphere. Has to do with HAARP. Now, look down below with this English and simple value. It's the same as 777. It's also the same as Order of Thelema, Structure, Worship Hell, Life is but a Dream, and He is in the Hoax. Now, I want to show you that 444, all on its lonesome there. If we bring out the full coding for it, the Jewish value is absolutely Order of Thelema. And it's also head mind control, dualisms, and FEMA camp program. Alright, the English and simple values, Jesus, Lucifer, occult, killing, the king, anti-peace, war pig, all in there. Alright, and so really the extent that this number comes up is something that I can't overstate. Even if you look up 777, which has the same coding as Full Buck Moon, which has the the 3 4-letter words. 777, look at that. 1114 gives you that 444. Again, directly connected with the Order of Thelema. And so I just want to show you, if we add those numbers together, 444 and 777, because they are incredibly important numbers, that absolutely gives us Kiss Love Gun. Tower of Babel, Baal worship, the Man of War, reoccurring possessions, the Voice of the Silence, leaving the Age of Pisces, Babylon Mystery and Followers. Down below, the Antichrist, Queen of Babylon, Lord of the Flies, the Law of Thelema, as well as America the Babylon and Satanic Truth. Stunning. So you take a look here at when that moon is due to take place, and it's 6:57 p.m., which we can reduce down to 6:12, 5 and 7, 12. 6:12, it's the same coding as Michael Pierce. It's also the same as Gravity, Jeff Martin, and A Real Cup of Coffee. But Michael Pierce is the guy who wrote the episode of The Simpsons, E Pluribus Wiggum, in which Ralph becomes elected mayor of Springfield. So you notice here for E Pluribus Ralph Wiggum, you do see 33rd degree Mason, as well as 2016 and the death of humanity next to ancestor worship. Michael Price, when we're looking into his coding, do notice that his Jewish value is the same simple value as Beyonce Knowles Carter, enthroned Washington, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, and MK Ultra mind control. You see directly tied in here down below ideas of New Balance, V, murderer, lie after lie, 1011 and 1110 next to lone wolf and 111. Really, I cannot overstate this. If you want to see the 1110, look back to Lisa the Iconoclast. See how it fits in there. It's the same as 9 Years' War, all these other things. MTV animation. If you look at it as the 1011, it's the same as Save the Bees. The underground bases, nuclear dissolution, God is the devil, seed of the devil, all of those things. So thoroughly connected for you. I have a hard time standing it. Alright. Jumping back to Michael Price. I want you to see ice cream here. I don't know if I have it written somewhere else, but since that's what goes into Ralph's eyes, it's coded the same as abrahadabra and rose. Abrahadabra is the word of the aeon, signifying the completion of the great work. So now Liberty Valance here, when we take a look through this, I want you to see that both names are 7 letters, and again, that's our incredibly important 77, and again, that goes all the way back to the beginning here, with the reductions and all the things I've shown you with that 121. Now notice LV, his initials, 322, his skull and bones number, 3 times 22 for 66. If we add the 77 from the number of letters in his name, with the 66 from his initial reductions, we get the number 143. And that must be something because I have it written out for you there. And so again, as you can see, I guess I do have it, just it's right next door here. It was the date of 5/22/2012, which is the day Sade's Bring Me Home was released. So again, immensely important and very intimately tied to all of this. Take a look down below. The English and simple values the same as Dallas Trade Mart, Pasadena, California, David Copperfield, God of All Things, and GB33ZB. Now, Been tying Rick Ross into all of this and the window seat remix video, and again telling you that the video starts with him going and picking her up. She's been reincarnated after she was shot in Dealey Plaza. In the window seat video, he goes and picks her up in front of this address, 330. Says jail release above there. That's important, but this is the license plate. At the end, they get out of the car, they leave the car. The last thing you hear are gunshots. GB33ZB, Liberty Valance, a man who's shot. Skull and Bones, The Meaning of Life, 29, 25, 66, 997. Again, I looked at this for you a while ago. I broke it down for you. That's where we got this phrase, what was under Benjamin Franklin's home at 36 Craven Street. Okay. Remember, it was skeletons from at least 15 people. And I looked into that in an article from the Smithsonian. On and on and on. The Path of Resh. So Liberty Valance is shot by a man named Ransom Rance Stoddard. It's James Stewart in the movie. I want you to see that name, Ransom Rance Stoddard, the same. The Jewish value is the same English value as Under the Bridge and the Babushka Lady. Remember the Babushka Lady, TBL 223, inverted 322, 66. Any number of ways that are more than acceptable to look at that. So you do see for that, though, that 840, the killing name, absolutely coming up in the Babushka Lady there. And Under the Bridge, you see Satan and Moloch, the devil / Satan. C, Mark of Beast, that's the 666, triple ones that I've shown you so much of. You see up top 16, which I'm saying is in reference to this year. Planned disaster. See accomplishment. Alright, accomplishment is the idea of man bearing water, Illuminatus. Love is the law, USA president, and the fall of mankind. You also see in that same bit Rosie Crossan building a world that makes it very, very difficult to refute. The only way you can really refute it is if you're just furrowing your eyebrow, because this is so far over your head, you just say, fuck it. But that's not what you should do. Back to Ransom Rance Stoddard so you can see it. 7. Order of Rosicrucian. Obama's damaged right eye. The shells of the Clipoth. Bill of Rights author, it's James Madison, which I figure is absolutely coded out for something here. Do notice it is the same as Fortune X. Fortune is the 10th tarot card. X, obviously the bit 410. You do see Hermetic Kabbalah, Conspiracy, 88, 411, Death Sentence, So Mote It Be, Tombstone, as well as Beginning and End. I'm sorry if my voice sounds weird. I've gone tone deaf in my left ear for some reason. And so do notice right now you also see the death of the Antichrist. One nation, one people, one leader, kill someone already, the slayer of men, Order of the Blue Rose, and the Church of Desolation. I want you to see that the English and simple values are the same as Jesus fucking Christ, what Adele proclaimed Beyonce to be, as well as Walter Leyland Cronkite and Hot Dogs Baseball Apple Pie. Again, that's from the Land trailer. It's inverted in the mirror that is hypnotizing a bunch of kids. You see Divine Gene, Archangel of Death, True Holy Angel of Death, Morning Star / Lucifer, and Impossible Coincidences. If we take a look at Ransom Stoddard, without Rance in the middle there, the first thing that we see is 180. If we type in 180, you will see here that it is the English, or excuse me, is the simple value for CBS News Bulletin. The Master Builder, 444. Signs of Deception, Eyes of the World, all of that directly connected. All things I am not but a breath away from having just discussed. Notice as well, Collapse of America, 4 beasts in the secret places. It's all or nothing, Satan's church, and look at that. 3 4s. What more do you want? Here it is over for you again. And it's just like the moon. Notice that His English and simple values are the same as Anessa Wells, CNN, Erica Abbey Wright, Irvine, California, yada yada yada. I can't remember if there was another one in this thing from today, so that's the one from there. But do notice United Nations 22, Last Trumpet, Scottish Rite, Divide and Conquer, the Crown Snake, Homosexual Agenda, and 729. Again, that ever important date. See how it comes up here in the man who kills Liberty Valance, in all of these 4s, and 22, and United Nations, and everything I've shown you up until this point. You shouldn't be watching this unless you've seen the first 2.5 hours. Alright, so let's go back. I want you to see that after the killing, Peabody nominates Stoddard as the territory's delegate to Washington. I want you to see that there is a lot that is held against him, and they don't want him to hold that office because he agrees that he should not be entrusted with public service after killing a man in a gunfight. So seeing Stoddard's reluctance, Jonathon takes him aside and confides that he, Jonathon, actually killed Valance from an alley across the street, firing at the same time as Stoddard. Jonathon explains that he knows Hallie loves Stoddard and he shot Valance to secure her happiness. So after he tells him that, he's able to accept the nomination and is able to be the one to report to Washington. And so obviously you have a man taking the fall for him there. And this is so complex I didn't feel it necessary to go too much further into that man in the shadow, but maybe in one other video I'll bring him up. But notice here for Washington, since we've talked about everything from the Washington Monument to enthroned Washington to his birth date to Ralph Wiggum playing him to his role in Jebediah Springfield, Washington gives us the number 11, the flag of the United States of America, and murder the Holy Ghost. The English and simple values give us the same as Minute Brew. It's the Nestle Nescafe commercial. Purple Rain, do not enter, and the dog has fleas. This is a quote from the Simpsons episode about Whacking Day, which for those of you who remember my old channel, I did a video on because it explains how the town of Springfield came to worship serpents, for Christ's sake. It's literally what the video is about. On the board, Marge wrote the dog has fleas, which appeared right after Bart was doing a multiplication table of 4 times 4. Okay, do you see that? You see terror, operation, threatening. Down below, again, those English and simple values. Rosicrucian, non-serviam, which means I will not serve, which is credited to Lucifer saying he won't serve God. White horse, 7th seal, black skeleton, that's from the tarot card. See the dollar bill, the blood of man, the path of Mem. It is the hanged man, the 12th card. Zachary Taylor was the 12th president. You see mysticism as well as the serpent. Alright, so I include that in there, the serpent worship. And we're going to start rounding the bend here into the last bits of this presentation and getting into another episode of The Simpsons entitled I Love Lisa, in which I won't look at nearly as extensively, but which is very important because Ralph Wiggum, who I talk about here, because the head of Jebediah Springfield falls onto him after being decapitated. All of the connections I've shown you. I want you to see that for President's Day pageant, this Jewish value here, I want you to know that it is 11:02. And when I talk about in my video about the date June 11th and the Pulse nightclub shooting and how it was said to start at 2:02, I want to talk about how this number 11:02 and all of these connections right here, 11:02 is what time it was on the West Coast when we heard about that, on June 11th still. Notice it's the same as Austin Zamora. This is the crane operator that I did the video on with Beyonce. Alright, and so you do notice and remember that this English 948, 158 here, this has absolutely come up in this video for metaphorically. And when we were looking at that coding of the double 13, the tarot card reading, the inversions, notice this is bullet point 13. And when we invert it to 31, it's Camptown Ladies, which has a Jewish value of 1313, the double 13. Alright. All of this so immensely important. So let's get back here to 948. Or excuse me, to 1102. And so again here for Austin Zamora and President's Day Pageant. President's Day Pageant, by the way, in this episode is where Ralph is playing the role of George Washington. There's all these pictures here. So in the opening of the President's Day Pageant, Rod Flanders is presented as President Zachary Taylor. He's actually the first president that they mentioned in their little song and dance. And so here you see reference to building block upon building block, Simpson's theory, current 333. All right, everything I've talked about with the window seat cover for Erykah Badu. You see doctrine revealed, see unto this day, and factual evidence. And down below, the English and simple values, notice that inverted 322, but you also see Rigging International there, which was the company that put the Bay Bridge Troll in place. It's obviously RI is 99. International rigging is another way to look at that. The human extinction, the synagogue of Satan, anything is possible, and secret numeric proof. Now I want you to see in this same episode, I Love Lisa here, we do see Bill and Hillary Clinton. And so remember, they were mentioned earlier in all of this. In Jebediah, in Obama Shot and Reborn, and Religious Idols, Kill, Magic, all of these things. I got hot sauce in my bag, which is something that Hillary said on the 109th day, which is coding I've shown you all up and down with this. And you go back, and in that same episode, it's this clip of Robert Frost in 1963 being interviewed by Krusty. So Robert Frost has the same English and simple values as unto this day, which President's Day Pageant tells us to look into. So when you look into unto this day, you do see it's the same simple values, the Jewish note up there as Aldous Huxley, the writer of Brave New World and Plan 9 Records, to released Bullet. You see Babylonian Brotherhood, Devil's Night, or Night's Devil. You see Wicked Man, Severe Hit, Racist, Extremist, and Savage Beast. The English and simple values down below are 666, as well as 33. You see As Above, So Below, Edward Crowley, 978, and Final Curtain Call. I have 978 highlighted as very important. And so you can see here that it is the same as Mayor Eric Hogue. And again, this is absolutely a number that has come up in this video today for Jebediah Springfield. Notice Mayor Eric Hogue is also the same as Nissan Stadium, the last place that that Beyonce is going to be playing her World Formation Tour. This is so awesomely connected. It is just beyond me. So with all of that, take a look at Ralph Wiggum here. Because he's the one whose dad has 666111 coding. He's the one whose dad, Police Chief Wiggum, exhumed and played with the corpse of Jebediah Springfield, with the founding father. Ralph Wiggum's dad, Police Chief Wiggum, made the town's founder sing Camptown Ladies in front of a full moon. Alright, and look at all of that coding for the Great Babylon, MK Ultra, mind control and ritual abuse, all of these things I've talked about leading up to this third hour here. Forehead sign, Book of the Dead, Mark of Beast, the Golden Dawn, commits murder then suicide, Gematria of 33, which I just showed you there connected with unto this day. Ralph Wiggum, who gets the ice cream to his right eye. Invisible Illuminati. 9-9. Emblem of the Theosophical Society. You see, eye surgery. The word became flesh. I serve the darkness. Amen is the word, I know. Satanic spirituality, and the devil uses black magic. The English and simple values are the same as I slay remix.